Alright, this is LSAT PrepTest 24, Section 4, questions 18 through 23, the fourth logic game of this test. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look. It says that 9 different treatments are available for a certain illness, 3 antibiotics, F, G, and H, 3 dietary regimens, M, N, and O, and 3 physical therapies, U, V, and W. For each case of the illness, the doctor will prescribe exactly 5 of the treatments in accordance with the following conditions. Okay, so what we know is that he's going to prescribe some, he's not going to prescribe others. There's 3 categories, right? There's F, G, and H, which are our antibiotics. You have M, N, and O, which are his dietary regimens, so let's label that DR. And then you have U, V, and M, or U, V, and W, rather, which are his physical therapies, PTs. Right? He's going to prescribe some of them, he's not going to prescribe some of them. And more to the point, he's going to prescribe 5 of them, meaning that he's not going to prescribe the other 4. And you also notice that there's no explicit mention that he has to prescribe at least 1 of each, right? Like, at least at this point, we have no idea what the particular conditions are here. So it could very well be the case that he just prescribes F, G, H, M, and N and doesn't prescribe a physical therapy, for example, right? I mean, the rules will tell us whether or not that's actually possible, but just pointing out that you can't make that assumption because they don't tell you, right? Okay. So, first rule. If 2 of the antibiotics are prescribed, the remaining antibiotic cannot be prescribed. Okay, so antibiotics just refer to F, G, and H, so 2 of F, G, H implies not the third. Not the third, right? That's rule number 1. It's just pretty straightforward. There's not a, we could write out all of the implications of it. Like F, G implies no H, F, H implies no G, G, H implies no F. Actually, it's probably a good idea to do that. So FG implies no H, FH implies no G, and then GH implies no F, right? Like these are actually the only 3 ways that this first rule could ever happen. Okay, how about the second rule? There must be exactly 1 dietary regimen prescribed. So this is rule number 2. There's 1 dietary regimen in, which means that there must be 2 dietary regimens out. Okay, third rule. If O is not prescribed, F cannot be prescribed. So 3 is if no O, then no F. How about our fourth rule? Fourth rule says if W is prescribed, F cannot be prescribed. So if W, no F. Right? So it looks like immediately we can combine these as well. We'll do that in a second. But let's finish up our rules first. Rule number 5 says G cannot be prescribed if both N and U are prescribed. So N and U implies no G. Okay? And our last rule. V cannot be prescribed unless both H and M are prescribed. So V being in implies H and M. Not the clothing store, just H and M. Right? And so looking at this set of rules, I mean, let's go ahead and we can combine these 2 together, right? F positive implies O, F positive implies W slash. You can take the contrapositives of these statements as well. G implies either no N or no U. Over here, no H or no M implies no V. Right? And so this is our setup, right? Like this is all the information we know, so we're never going to touch this again. But like look at what we have here, right? We have rules up here. We have a rule for F, G, and H, F, O, and W, right? So F, O, and W, G, N, and U. So G, N, and U, and then H, M, and V. So like H, M, and V, right? So we actually have a rule for every one of our elements here, which tells me that it's a fairly restrictive game. In addition, like a lot of these rules start to interplay, not necessarily in a way that we can write down, but like for example, if you have F and G, not only do you know you don't have H, but you know you also have O and you must not have W, right? Same thing goes for F and H down here. Or like if you have F and G, G implies no N and no U. If you don't have F, like if you have FG for example, that means you don't have H. That means that you don't have V, and so on and so forth. Right? So there's a lot of flexible thinking to take place in this game that'll really help us along moving forward. Okay, so I mean, like nothing that you can really concretely write down, but definitely some connections that you can draw here that should help once the questions roll along. Okay, so let's actually just go to the questions here. So the first question is question 18. It's just going to be your simple process of elimination question. It's just asking you what could be the 5 treatments prescribed for a given case. Okay, so you just run through this rule by rule, right? So I think the easiest one to eliminate is that if you have one or more of M, N, and O, that means that you can't be correct. Okay, so answer choice A has just one of them. Answer choice B has 2 of them, right? So immediately that's out, right? It has M and O together. Answer choice C very similarly has M and O together. Answer choice D just has N, just has N. And answer choice E only has O. Okay, great. So right off the bat, we've eliminated 2 answer choices here. Okay, so let's keep going. 2 of F, G, and H means that you don't have the third. So the question is just, once you have, like, is there any answer choice that has all 3? And yeah, there is. Answer choice A actually has all 3 of F, G, and H, so that can't be right. Okay, so we're down to 2. Let's keep going. F implies O, F implies no W. Well, D and E are the only ones that are left, and we don't know anything. Well, there's no F in here, so we can just skip this rule for now. How about, well, both of them have G, right? Okay, so G implies no N or no U, right? Okay, so answer choice D has an N, and it has a U, which means that can't be correct. So by rule number 5, answer choice D is wrong, which means answer choice E must be right. And you see that that it does have G, right, which implies no N or no U, and answer choice E has a U, but it doesn't have N, right? And so therefore that's why it's correct. Okay, moving on. Question 19. Which of the following could be the antibiotics and physical therapies prescribed for a given case? So it looks like this is again just one of those questions where you can just process of elimination your way through it, right? Except that instead of giving you the slate of all 5, now it's only giving you 4. Right, so now, like, once again, we just move through these, right? Answer choice A has F, G, and H together, so once again, that violates our first rule right here. That can't ever be the case. Looking at the rest of them, none of them violate that rule, so that's fine. What's next? F implies O, F implies no W. So is there a place that we have F and W together? Yeah, answer choice C, right? Puts F and W together. This is rule number 4. And also, answer choice B, it looks like, right? F, G, U, and V, right? Well, I mean, actually, that's not true, because, like, you know, let's talk about this for a second. F, G, U, and V, right? All this says is that F implies O, right? We could still shimmy an O in here, right? So I mean, that's not a good reason to eliminate answer choice B. Okay, so let's keep going. You know, like, let's actually take this from the forward perspective. Let's see what they give us and see what we can figure out. Okay, so answer choice B, for example, F and G, right, implies no H. That's fine. Well, no H gives us no V, right? Because V is okay. Like, F and G means no H. Down here, no H or no M implies no V, and answer choice B has V in it, so that can't be correct. Right, this is the combination of 1 and 6. So let's do 1 plus 6. Okay, which leaves us D and E. GUVW and HUVW. GUVW, HUVW. And there doesn't seem to be a lot of difference here, right? But I mean, there are several rules down here about what's going on, right? So the first one I think that really sticks out is that V implies H and M, right? V implies H and M. Right, so V implies H, that's great, and then we can shimmy the M in here, because remember, it's only giving us A and PT, it's not giving us DR, the one, right? Whereas over here, V implies H, where's H? Well, H is an antibiotic. If we prescribe, you know, H here, then we don't have any dietary regimens, and there must be exactly one dietary regimen, right? So therefore, answer choice E is the answer to question 19. Alright, let's clear a slate and keep going with question 20. So question 20 asks us, if O is prescribed for a given case, which of the following is a pair of treatments, both of which must also be prescribed for that case. So immediately what I know is that this information that O is in should be able to tell me definitively what's going on, right? In other words, that there has to be, because they ask us what must be true, which means that we should be able to place some stuff, you know, pretty much, you know, without a doubt, like permanent, like no questions asked. Okay, so what is the information they give us? They give us O is in, right? So immediately we trigger rule number 2. If O is in, that means that M and N are both out, right? Like scanning our rules through, you know, like this combined rule is not going to help us. We don't know anything about G, N, or U, but we do know that M is out, right? And so if one of H or M is out, that means V is also out, which means that V is out here as well because M is out, right? And so, I mean, immediately, you know, you know that all of this is true. You don't know what else. So let's actually clean this up. That's a V, not a Y. And you don't really know what's going on in the rest of this. But I mean, actually, you do, and I'll show you how in just a second. But I mean, first, let's address this question, right? So look, all we know for sure is that M, N, and V are out. But look at the answer choices they give you, right? Let's start with answer choice A. F and M. M can never be in, so A is out. Answer choice B, G, and V. V is always out. B is not right. How about C? N and U. N is always out. Get rid of it. Answer choice D, U, and V. V is always out. Get rid of it. You know the answer is E without even having to do any additional work, right? You don't even have to know what could possibly be in or out because, you know, the for the answer choices they give you are just so clearly incorrect, right? But you know, just for the sake, since this is a tutorial video, I mean, let's go ahead and evaluate what it is that they're actually looking for out of us, right? So if you chose to work this out, you remember this combined rule that I skipped, right? Like what I notice here immediately is that we have 3 elements already that are out, right? And so depending on what that 4th element that is out is, I can actually completely determine what's going on. And well, you know, which one of our rules lets me put something definitively out? It's this one right here, right? This one's just this or this, right? So I actually don't know anything more about N and U. I know N is out, but I don't know anything about U. But this rule right here, where we have F gives us O, F gives us /W, lets me put a 4th thing definitively out if I put F in, right? So if I put F in, then I put W definitively out. This takes care of my 4, right? I'm only not prescribing 4 things, which means that everything else must be in. So U, V, W, O, M, M, F, G, H, O, right? This runs into problems, right? Because according to our first rule, we can only have 2 of those guys. So this can actually never happen, meaning that we have to put F out, right? If we have to put F out, once again, what we've done, 1, 2, 3, 4 things out, which means that the rest of it is in. And so from the front angle, you can also get the answer choice E, which is UW, is the answer, right? And you can get it by thinking about this this really restrictive rule right here that definitively lets you put 1 element out. Okay, that's question 20. How about 21? 21 says if G is prescribed for a given case, which of the following is a pair of treatments, both of which could also be prescribed for that given case? Okay. So once again, we draw our thing. Now we know that G is definitely prescribed. Okay, and so what do we know, right? We know that G implies either no N or no U. So there's actually only 3 ways that this could happen. Either, you know, G and N, or G with N out, G with U out, or G with N and U out. Okay, but I mean, before we even get into this, you know, splitting out scenarios thing, I mean, we should go to the answer choices. We should see whether or not there's anything that we can glean from them in terms of information, right? So we definitely know. I don't know why I put G down there. Actually, G is actually up here, right? G is an antibiotic. It's not a physical, or it's not a dietary regimen, right? So G being in tells us, you know, okay, fine. That means that N or U have to be out, one or the other, or both, right? But I mean, like looking at these answer choices, it actually seems like there's an easier way to go about this than actually just trying all of them, you know, in terms of like the 3 categories and stuff like that. So I'm actually just going to reproduce them here, and let's think about this, right? So okay, so answer choice A, for example, right? F we know is a gigantically restrictive rule, right? So if we put F in, we know 2 other things. We know that O's got to be in. We know that W's got to be out, right? So like just for the sake of, you know, of showing what's going on, let's actually just try to put F in, right? So F in implies that O is in, which implies that M and N are out, and we can't do that, right? F meaning O is in means that F and M can't be out. Or, you know, F and M can't ever be in together, right? So answer choice A is definitely just not going to be it, right? And if you think really hard about it, answer choice B actually says the exact same thing, right? If we put F in, that means O goes here, which means that N can't ever go here, right? And so what these 2 answer choices are really preying on is actually the second rule, that you can only have one of these dietary regimens, right? So it can't ever be the case that you can have F and any dietary regimen that is not that is not O, right? Because that's actually a rule right here. Okay, looking at answer choice C, for example, and let's actually just get rid of all this text in blue. We see that what they're asking for here is okay, N and V, right? Okay, that's great. That's fine. So we have N here, right, and we have V here, which is great. Okay, what does N tell us? G implies no N or no U. Okay, so that's fine. But V tells us something. V tells us we have to have H and M, right? And also, so see what we have again, right? V telling us that we have H and M means once again we are running afoul of our rule that we can only have one guy in this middle column, right? And if you see, answer choice D actually runs into the exact same problem, right? Because V gives us immediately one of these dietary regimens, so we can't ever have this other one. In other words, right, V implies M. Like V can't be in any scenario other than one where M is the only dietary regimen. Right? So once again, just by process of elimination and by seeing the patterns that these answer choices are constructed with, we come immediately to this idea: the answer choice E is the correct answer. And actually, just to prove it to you, this is what it looks like. Right? If we do this, we have G in. Now we have V and W in, right? V implies H, or I'm sorry, H goes up here. V implies M, and then everything else goes out. So M, N, O, G, H, F, V, W, U, right? And this is perfectly okay, right? But I mean, the key to this question is realizing that this F term is very restrictive, and here realizing that this V term is also very restrictive, and using the structure of the game to eliminate all four of these answer choices very quickly. So that's question 21. So let's actually go ahead and get rid of this, and then we can talk about questions 22 and 23. Okay, question 22. Question 22 asks us, which of the following is a list of 3 treatments that could be prescribed together for a given case? Okay. So I think in this case it actually makes sense to write them out. FMU, FOW, GNV, GVW, and HNV. Okay, because this once again just looks like another elimination thing, right? Okay, so these are things that can be prescribed together, and so given what we just learned in the last question about the sort of restrictions that certain letters put on, it makes sense to explore those, right? So for example, like once again we see that we have 2 answer choices with F, 3 answer choices with V, right? And we know that both of those letters are unbelievably restrictive. Okay, so let's look at answer choice A, F. F implies O, F implies no W. Okay, so F implies O, meaning that we just actually learned that we can't ever have M with F, right? So F implies O, which means that implies the other things it implies are no N and no M. Right, so we could, if we really wanted to, we could even add to our rule over here. Right, very similarly over here. Right, here we have F. Okay, that's fine, but it actually looks like that at least here is okay. That F implies O. That's great, but F implies no W. Right, and we have W right here. So answer choice B is also not going to be it. So once again, we're just using our really restrictive rules to cut these out. Okay, answer choice C. V implies H. V implies M. Right, so in other words, V implies H, V implies M. Since V implies M, it also implies no N and no O, right? And so we see immediately that V and N, we violate our rule here, right? And once again, V and N, we violate our rule here. So answer choice D has got to be the answer here, and that is actually the correct answer, right? So a complicated question that ends up being or a complicated looking question rather, that ends up being rather simple. Okay, so home stretch. Which of the following treatments cannot be prescribed in any case? Okay, so look what we have here. If we have F, then we don't have O. Or we do have N. We don't have N, M, and W. If we have V, we have H. We don't have, and we have M, but we don't have N, and we don't have O. And so you see the pattern that starts to come here, right? This is something that over the course of this game immediately sticks out to me, is that like we've been talking a lot about O, we've been talking a lot about M. But where the heck does N fit into this, right? So it looks like if you have F or if you have V, you can't have N. So the only way that we could possibly put an N in is if we had no F and we had no V, right? Okay, that's fine, that's great, except that does this actually work, right? Because then N implies no M, no M, and then we have our 4, so everything else has got to be in. So GH, FGH, MNO, and then UVW. Or this is a U. Let's distinguish that from the V on the other side there, right? But okay, this definitely violates some of our rules, right? For example, N and U implies no G. So N and U implies no G. No way, right? So we violated rule number 5 here, which means that this can never actually be the case, which means that it turns out that N cannot ever be selected, right? It's the most useless cure on the planet. Okay, but even barring that, we can go to the answer choices and look. So I mean, like G, we actually constructed an example. Like the very first question gives you an example where G is in the correct answer choice, right? Same thing with W, which is answer choice E, right? And like number 18 gives us a valid arrangement of the elements, A and G and W and U for that matter, which is answer choice C. Those are all in there, right? And then so the only question becomes, okay, is it M or is it N, right? And up here, not up here, but previously in questions 20 and 21, we did come up with valid arrangements that implied M, right? In other words, like anything that has a V has an M in it as well, right? So we know that there is a valid arrangement of elements that includes V, and so we know that therefore if it includes V, it must include M, and so that's M is not going to be correct either, right? So it turns out the answer choice C, if you go by process of elimination, is the only one that cannot ever be selected, right? And there's your game.